Hopefully you can still understand me quite properly. Okay, so welcome here. My name is Marcia Simon. I'm a presenter, moderator, and program maker within the creative industries in the Netherlands. And I like to host interactive events. So I'm hoping an active attitude from you all. Especially because it's about social design. And I think social design is all about doing. Not talking, but really doing. So we should really get into motion. It's a real honor and a real pleasure to be here and to guide us through this session today at the Isola.design district in Milano. And I have to look at my paper because it is called, the space is of course called S32, but I'm not really good in Italian, but it is S32. So that's where we are. So, last year, the Dutch government took about 300 days and quite a chaotic process to actually come to a coalition agreement. And when it was presented at the 15th of 2021, a part of our creative community in the Netherlands responded quite enthusiastic. Because this agreement, and I will quote, it said, first of all, culture is essential to and an investment in our society. The connecting, inspiring, and stimulating power of art and culture brings people together and challenges and offers new perspectives. Now, that was not the main reason we were all very happy, but this agreement, this one-pager, it ended with this very short and promising sentence, and it said, and I quote again, "We involve the creative industry in large social challenges." Having said that, you can imagine that it gives this pioneering group of social designers in the Netherlands hope for the coming 3.5 still political years. But as you see, not everywhere in the world it has already been taken very seriously. As you see, we have quite an empty space here. There's still a lot of work to do. So I'm very happy that we are here on the invitation of Isola, the Dutch Consulate in Milano, and the Dutch Embassy in Roma, as they collaborated together to create an exhibition and a social design talk right now. And we are here to find out how some of those Dutch creative pioneers, how they actually create solutions for societal difficulties. Now, I know that there's somebody here in the room from the consulate. Stefano, could you maybe stand up? This is Stefano, right? Stefano, okay, he's coming here. Stefano, thank you. Could you maybe elaborate on what was actually the motivation behind your collaboration?
Yeah, of course. So I work at the cultural office of the consulate in Milan. I have two colleagues of mine who work at the embassy in Rome. Babs van Lieshout is here, my colleague who works in Rome. And we promote cultural initiatives in Italy that involve Dutch partners. So since for a couple of years now, we have expanded our attention fields, our priorities, and we integrated them with a number of thematic fields. One of them is vergrijzing, the elderly, culture for the elderly, and the connection between culture, the creative industries, and the elderly. So we thought, how about try to connect our traditional focus on design and using the platform of the Salone del Mobile to put the attention to societal challenges and how design can tackle them. So we found a very receptive partner in Isola. We're very happy to work with them because they're very enthusiastic. They do an excellent job. And Trooster, who's here, has curated a very nice exhibition here, the Palazzo della Legione, which I invite you all to see. And so here we are for this workshop.
And could you explain to us why an exhibition, and then also why do we have this talk here? How could this contribute to the challenge you meet?
Well, we do not, this is an idea of VISE, both the exhibition and the workshop. So we just try to pitch our ideas to them, our stimuli to them. But this is all our, this is idea, this is responsibility, this is work. So we hope that that such an occasion like this is, of course, a moment in which we can exchange ideas and experiences, and this maybe can lead to further development of this project next year, maybe in the Netherlands, maybe here in Milan again, maybe on another occasion, or the Salone.
Thank you, Stefano. You can sit down. Thank you. Yeah, so it's also being recorded, so hopefully at Isola's platform you will share the video, and we will indeed continue this conversation. So let it be a kickoff for Italy to understand what social design is, and that we all need each other to create this kind of new field in design here. Well, since the occasion is the exhibition, the social side of design, I'm wondering in this audience who went to the exhibition. Did one of you already go? No? Did you go? Yes, you went. So I'm sorry. I'm going to ask you who you are.
My name is Brigitte Vermeulen.
Brigitte Vermeulen. Okay, and did you see it? What is your first impression?
Yes, well, I think it's very important that there's a focus on social design. I'm also working sometimes with Petra, with her work at a social label. So yeah, we see and feel the impact of people working with us, and yeah, that's very important, I think. So.
Okay, thank you. Then I also know the reason you're coming. You're coming because you're here to support Petra. Great, great. Somebody else who saw the exhibition, did you already see the exhibition? Did you see the exhibition? Yes, you went. You went. You didn't. Sir, did you go to the exhibition? Very quick. Okay, so very quickly, I will ask you a short first impression of the exhibition.
It's fantastic, especially because I'm here with my two sons, and that's the reason that I was here.
Okay, so we have another supporter here. So Dutch, but then it brings me to you, whom I don't know. May I ask who you are?
Yes, I am Yona Patiño. I'm from Colombia.
You're from Colombia, and you came for the Milan Design Week today?
Actually, I live here in Milan.
Okay, so okay. And why did you come to this session today?
I am a management engineer.
Sorry, I couldn't understand it.
Management engineer. Okay. But I like the social part of everything. I mean, I would like to work in social challenges. So as a part of this, there is the design.
And as somebody from Colombia living in Italy, in Milano, how alive and kicking is social design here?
Sorry?
How alive is the social design here in Milano?
Actually, I'm not sure. I don't see that much here.
I supposed. And since you are also here, thank you. Who are you?
Thank you. Hi, everyone. I'm Xue, and I'm original Chinese, but I have been living here for 8 years. I'm a researcher in the design department of Politecnico Milano. Actually, we have participated in one of the activities that you organized in the, my colleague Carla participated with one of our project, Longevity, which is an initiative trying to use design creativity to promote the city to be more walkable for the aging society. So I'm here, like, actually we saw there's also some funding possibilities that we can create the network between Italy and the Netherlands to do something more from the creative industries to support the social changes. So I'm curious to see if we are able to collaborate for something. Thank you.
Great, a very clear purpose to be here. But as you see, it's all real pioneers still who are here in this space. So maybe we can bring it to a level that probably everybody already understands. But we do have to create a level that everybody will understand, because in the end we put it online at the platform for everybody to really understand what social design is all about. Let's not forget that there are still a lot of people who don't understand it yet. Which brings me back to the program. Indeed, Wisse Trooster, who is a design scout at Isola, you choose 6 projects for us to talk about. Designers Petra Janssen, Ligtenberg, and Tim Trooster are here today. They prepared beautiful presentations. And in between, what we wanted to do was some social design exercises, and we will do them, but unfortunately we will do it with the pioneers here, which is a bit a pity. And then around 3, we will end with a collaborative conversation. But first, we have a message from the Social Design Lobby, who initiated the Social Design Tear-Off Calendar.
Hello, we are Studio Sociaal Centraal, a social design studio from the Netherlands, and we were asked whether social design could be an export product.
We think social design could be an export product because social design is about solving social challenges, and they are not just in the Netherlands, they are everywhere. But we think that it's very important to take a local approach because to find a fitting solution you need to know what the culture is about, if players are in the field, how the context looks like. So I think a full yes, but then with some local adjustments.
And then it's nice to know that we made a tear-off calendar with Dutch social design inspiration. And what is especially nice to know is that we will make an English version of it. So, Wisse, please let them know how they can subscribe to receive one.
Okay, so did everybody understand this, or was it too quiet? Yeah? Is there a way that we could turn on the volume? Turn up the volume, is it possible? Because it's a pity, I mean, we made this video and they are... No? You cannot. Okay, so you saw Yus and Manon. And Yus and Manon are from Studio Sociaal Centraal. And together with the Reuringdienst, Studio Bernard Lenger and Studio Marleen van Bergijk, they made this tear-off calendar. Right here. And during Corona, it's really funny because they thought, well, we cannot do anything. They actually really stepped into a van and they hit the road and they drove throughout the Netherlands to pick up all these kinds of informations about what they are doing and to really, campaign about social design. So it's really funny that they actually made this scheurkalender. So today I was wondering which project it would be. And it is a project, as you see, it's Wednesday, 8th of June. You see snelle experimenten voor tastbaar bewijs. So fast experiments for tangible proof. And this is from Buitengewone Zaken, who is a team of social and visual designers. And they really do all kinds of social experiments. And they are a very diverse team. So they have all kinds of different roles within their team. So if you are interested in knowing all about what's going on in the Netherlands, you should have this, because this is a great archive of what is going on. And you can find it over there. So far, let's continue. Here you see them. And now it's time for me to introduce our first speaker of today, which is Petra Janssen. And I feel very honored to introduce her, because I'm not going to introduce who she is and all the things she did, because this is somebody who's been working for about 30 years now, I think, 30, 35 maybe, because you were a very active student. But I wanted to tell you that as we are a set of pioneers over here, these speakers here, they are also pioneering within the field of design. So, Petra, I'm very honored that you are here. you are an unbelievable active player in the community, in the creative community in the Netherlands. You are developing a terrain, a werkwarenhuis in Den Bosch. You teach, you guide departments in academies. You run a studio, and also you initiated Social Label. And you're here to tell us all about Social Label. Please.
Thank you for this really nice introduction. And also first of all, I'm a designer myself, because I think it starts all with designing and have the context of a designer. So this is what I do. I studied at an art academy. So for me, it's really important that everything what I do is from my profession, designer. So for me, design and communication is for me a base in life to make new possibilities. And of course, next to my own design studio is teaching, and now is teaching more in society, more in real life. That's what I want. I want to be like master education in practical way for people in distance of labor market. So this is a real big difference, a challenge. So I called the first slide, it's called Game Over. I think it's really important. I started in 2011 when I just stopped with teaching, and I missed it a little bit, and I did a festival. It's called Hutti Festival de Vlek, and we built, in an art community, we built a new society, and we tried, in 10 days, we tried something new. And I asked a lot of friends of mine to build with me a little village. And in this village, we meet a lot of people. And so Social Label is not started as a concept. I hate concepts. Of course, you can't concept, but you have to do it, you know. And it's just an idea, and everybody has ideas. So we started then because a group of people who are disabled came and worked with us, and they worked with Piet Hein Eek, and they helped him to build something. And then this guy said, okay, maybe we can make this in our workshop. And I said, no, you can't. Because Piet Hein Eek has a business model. He has to earn his money with his designs. You have to ask. You have to ask and throw him the question. And Piet's a good friend of mine. And I said, okay, I will. They didn't do it. I said, okay, I will ask the question. Piet, do you want to design something with them or for them? And this is how Social Label started. It was a question from society. And I thought, okay. So this was in 2011. In 2015, it became a foundation, 2014, a foundation. Then it became a movement, 17 designers, international, in Dutch. Then bigger, and like 150 in the Netherlands. Several workshops through the Netherlands are working with me. So this is where we are now, game over, because our society, this is the people. So we work also with elderly, but we work with a lot of people who have no chances in the Netherlands, who are too old, too dumb, too less money, lots of things. So we try to work to give all people in the Netherlands real work, because we notice that if you can have real work, then it's joyful. So work is really, working with your hands is really joyful for yourself. Very important is the teachers on the workshops in the Netherlands who have this profession of healthcare takers. And we work with them together. We work with designers together. You see here Piet Hein in the middle. I always have to explain who he is. And this is with the group boys of Amarant, the first pioneer group. We started in 2011 to work with them as a product together. We are still making this product. We are still selling this product. So also we were trying with the foundation to get this social economic thing, so that it's real work. We real sell it on a high level, so we can deal with a real economic thing. So very important what we do. You see here Kiki van Eyck with a girl. We are designing labor. are designing labor, especially for a group of people. And first we ask them, how do we have to communicate together? What do you want to invest in your workshop? What do you want to learn in your workshop? So as a designer, we always ask everything around, and then we are designing just a product so we can make the person, the group who was working, make them happy. The group of Kiki was a group with physical problems, and the question there was, we need time. Design something what can take time, so we can lose our minds. We can work and we can think. So every product has a different thing. This is designer Edwin Vollerberg. He works, I will show you a little movie next to it. But he works with two groups. Works with the groups of Cello Zorg. That's a group of people who have disabilities, mental disabilities. And then another group have mental problems. And it's really nice that we have both groups working together. Because also in the Netherlands you see a lot of people working, but they don't meet each other. So what we are trying to do to make this community all working together, seeing together, and that's really important. What we did, with this project, it's also seen in the show. It's called the Storytelling Tableware, and everybody was interviewed and could tell the story. And Edwin made 300 tattoos for them, and they are making the ceramic. So they are in co-creation. So this is their story. Each thing is unique. So important thing is to know that if you work like this, it's totally different because the designers all work for the people. So take a look how a workshop in the Netherlands looks. I can play somewhere. Oh. Oh. What you see on this movie is that people who have mental problems, they are going back in society because they don't want to go to the shrink, but they want to work with us. That's much more easy and better for them. But with Cello, we have this project already for, I think, 5 years in our collection. And they can make not a living, but they will get the money from us. And as you see, we were already 2 times in Isola. We were here just in 2019 and the first time in 2017. This is a picture of 2019. But this is really funny. This is also the group. So with the money they earned, they keep it in their pocket. So we said to the healthcare organization, keep it. And they book a ticket to Milano. And they come to give here a workshop. And this is the best thing that we can do. So this is really important for people that they are involved in society. So they are doing on the same level as we work with us. So we were here in Isola and they are still talking about it. So the presence, to get the interviews, I'm now here, but I have a lot of people who can also do this talk in a different way, but that's really important. So this is a little slide with all the groups. So what we do is that the designer is always in the middle, but in the group, because that's important. It's all working together. Everybody is on the same level. It's like working in a circle. But this is also an important thing. This is how we as a foundation work. So on the right, like events festival, that's like here in Isola. But we work like sheltered workshops with innovative retailers. We're just trying to get this new social retail concept, but everybody wants to earn too much money. So we are still, as foundation, the people who are selling the stuff, because we have to earn the money also to pay them. But also the government, they are responsible for new participation, other laws. You know, we need different rules. So this is also the way we work. Healthcare organizations, designers and artists, and also people-oriented companies. Because I think there are a lot of companies who really want to work with people who are different or maybe older or less. But it's really important. And of course, on top, the consumers. The consumers have to already to rethink that they have to buy social products, and they are more expensive because they are made in the home country, and work is more expensive in locals. And we are for working with locals, really important. This is also how we present this little house we built last year. It's called the Democracy of Beauty. And this is what we want to give them, everybody beauty. So this is the social label house we want to build in future. So we get more social houses and really nice design. And now I come on on Werkwarenhuis. We had the festival for 10 days. I have now a space for 10 years. On the left, how we started, and on the right, the Werkwarenhuis and the social label up, who was opened by our Queen Maxima in 2080, and the gallery. So what we are trying to do is making this real new bubble in a really old factory place, and where we work together and have these ateliers where we are trying, but we want to do it on a different way, on a beautiful way, not hidden in the wood or on very industrial places. And this is the collection we made together. And this is also very important that, you know, in the way we present it, the way we do our PR, or the way how we photograph it, that it's on a very high professional way, so that it's, really notable for also consumers and clients, that it's really important that, you have to buy this kind of social product. And the products you see, it's all about the house, products for in the house, because that's also what our people likes. And another pilot we are doing is education. On the right, we also present here in the exhibition that now it's young students who have internships, and we have to learn the young students how to participate and work with people of distance of labor market, because it's different. You have to be in contact. And then we give them all the needs and the ways and the arts and crafts. And this, I think, is a beautiful picture, because the designer, Farida, from Lille, is in the middle. And on the left, it's an intern, and the two girls on the right and in the middle, they are people, they had brain damage in the middle, and it's difficult, but you can't see it in here. And they work together, 4 of them, on this project, but from the start. And this is really important that it's, together. So this is our platform, Designing a System Change, very big. And that's why we wrote a big book about it. It's here, and it's we presented in 2019 in Milano. And also what we're trying to do is make it quantitative, make the impact. We ask writers like, can beauty save Europe? That's from Jonathan Holzlach, we asked. But also cutting stone of building new cathedrals. How do we have to go? So we are trying, because as designer you don't know everything. We work with all professionals in the field, but also with Tom. And Tom has also made a poem. So very important. I will end with a little movie. Then you can see, this is a dance movie. Also we do activities, but this is Sanne dancing with Jana, and we presented last week on Dutch Design Week. But this is all the people. She's the teacher, and on the left She's the designer, but this is how you can work together. And I would thank you for this little talk, and take a look. It's about leading and helping each other and learn from each other.
Wow. A big round of applause for Social Label and Petra. Maybe you can still grab your mic.
Yeah.
Wow, such a beautiful movie. The first thing that it really touches me to see this choreography. And the first thing that came to mind is, what does it do to somebody like her? We see somebody with the Down syndrome. Did you talk to her about it? What does it do to her to be able to work with a dancer like this?
Yeah, we just started last year with 5 new ateliers at our home shop Social Label, and we started with, of course, with the parents, but it's because her mind is like a 3-year-old, and she's also working on the skins of Studio Rens, so she does a lot of designing work and weaving, and she can do a lot. It's really fun, but this was totally new, so we started 5 new ateliers because we want a more interaction and also on the level of communication. So she's difficulty with talk, but she can move in another way. And she opened up. Her mother said that she opened up much more. So it's more being a performance, and it helps her. So we also, as teachers, we also learn a lot. So
Yeah.
this is the thing that it's like a pilot. We started in 2011 with a pilot, and I'm not doing this alone. I'm doing this with Simone Kramer. So we learn a lot during the road. So it's and this was really nice. And now she was alone. This year we do a little choreography, and we will present it in the Dutch Design Week, like with 5 or 6 people.
Okay,
So
so
we are
next
we are
Dutch
building
Design
up.
Week.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
so
we
come
are
and
buil-
see during Dutch
Yes.
Design
So
Week.
we are building up. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Are there questions in the audience for Petra on how she... Well, I do have a question, because you are working from 2013, then 11, from 2011. You started social labor in 2013, 14, right?
Yeah, 2011 we did the first with Petra, and
Yeah.
then we made social label wood. So we made tables, but we made a foundation. Then we thought like, okay, we have to make a foundation from it. So this has to become bigger. And then we thought foundation. Then we thought we have to make a movement of it, because it has to. A lot of designers, it's important for designers to know that you also can work in this kind of way. So it's really important. It's not that you are designing and people in distance of labor market only produce it. No, we do it the other way around. So
Yeah.
you are working for the people, and then a product is coming out of that.
Yes, and did you from the beginning choose to really come with excellent design products? Because in social design, you don't always see these results. You really have a result of products.
Yeah.
Was this a very concrete choice of yours?
Yeah, it was, because I want to make a social economy of it. It's really important, because if it's become only social, and it's not it's not volunteering.
Yeah.
We are professionals. We really want to do it on the right way, and this is really important, that it become a social economy, and that consumers will buy. I would say buy work in the Netherlands, buy something from social label. Because that's really important, because there are
Yeah.
a lot of people who are not able to work in a normal job, but they can work with their hands, they can do a lot, and it's really joyful for them.
Okay. Well, later on we will elaborate on the process. Thank you very much.
Yes,
you
you're
can
welcome.
you can try to sit down again.
Thank you.
Give me the mic. I will give it to Anna, our next speaker. And I have to make sure it doesn't sing around. Is it already there? No. That's your name, Anna, there. Anna Ligtenberg, who is here and prepared another presentation for us. Also feel very honored, because Petra has been in the field for about 30 years, but Anna and me actually started our education in Design Academy in Eindhoven together. So we actually went through this educational process together, and we also visiting Milan together. So I know Anna quite well, and as Petra, she's also very active within the design community, developing a whole terrain in Eindhoven, where many studios have their studio and ateliers and workshops. She coordinates the morning studio at Design Academy, so she's really guiding all kinds of students from all kinds of languages. And I know she has a very empathic approach, and yesterday it came in very handy, because we saw a presentation from a German speaker who was talking in English, and I couldn't follow him. And then later I was talking to Anna, I couldn't understand him, and she just understood everything perfectly. So it also is very convenient for herself to be working with such empathy with all these students and people for the social design projects. So Anna Ligtenberg, please give us your presentation.
Hello. Thank you for being here, and also really thank you for the invite. I think it's, like it said before already a couple of times by Marcia, this whole thing is pioneering. And I think it's really nice, because it also gives back immediate energy if people come, because it really feels like you have to convey, and you have to start listening, you have to start questions. But about the work that I do, I would like to start that I work together with Mats Horbach. Together we are, the studio has my name, but we are really a team. And what we try to do is to make difficult subjects open for discussion. And I feel that we have to do this because therefore people have a mutual understanding about a topic or about a notion. And from that point on, you can really start to develop something new again. So because of course today we're focusing slightly on what also design and social design can do about elderly care. We got a question from Actis, which is an organization in the Netherlands that takes care of elderly homes and elderly organizations towards the government. And they asked us, could you think about a more reciprocal way of living when we are on an older age? Which is not a small question. It's a huge question. And of course it's a very important one because we know that people will get older and we know that the population is only going to grow of people of older age. So how can you then think about this? How can they change their lives? How could you already help a bit? And actually it was also a very difficult question for us as designers, because normally we work with a topic and then we start to ask questions to people who have knowledge about this. Because this is of course a more future scenario. So how could we work with our methods and still find a way how to answer the question? So just to take a step back to talk a bit about how we perceive our work. For instance, of course, you know the Me Too movement that happened a couple of years ago, and people were used to ask questions to victims, but then you also have to start ask questions to caregivers, because how can they talk about the subject? How do they actually ask questions to the people, or to people that might have a problem? How are they trained in it? Because a lot of them actually aren't trained about it, because it is a subject that we don't really talk about as a whole society. But of course there are always ones that do. There are always caregivers that have experienced somebody across from them that they learned from, or they have experienced themselves, and they know how to integrate that within their work. So it was really our job to collect all those notions and all those knowledge of people that work, and then to make it more available for all the others that don't, that still are caregivers but don't know how to deal with it, but want to deal with it and aren't being taught at the moment, because this is a movement within our society right now, which means that everybody that had their education already years before doesn't come across from it anymore. Which I think is a really interesting notion, that you learn something in school and then of course you always have to keep learning and you have to keep asking questions. And that's actually becoming our main job as designers. Me and Mats, and I think designers in general, because if we keep asking questions and if we keep gathering knowledge, then of course we know it, but as a designer you always have the chance to then give it to others. Like also Petra already explained, you need to have those objects, people, and you need to have the professional communication about how you present it, because then you trigger a whole new notion of interest and more direct attention from people that otherwise wouldn't come to also an event like this. One other project that's very close to my heart, because Masha said I understood everything about the German person that was speaking. I'm also very dyslexic. So language is not my first thing, but therefore I'm very trained in how all those different ways of language and all those different notions of people that communicate are also very important, which helps me a lot in my work. But I have this, my brother has this, my mother has this, and we all have it differently. So to me, the notion that dyslexia is something that you can have in many different forms was a very normal one. For a lot of people, it isn't. So I just started asking questions again. So what is dyslexia to you? So I asked this to more than 250 people from all different ages, from all different backgrounds, people that were really stuck because they couldn't work with language, people that got their PhDs and became professors, and like everything in between. And then you can start to understand, okay, what does dyslexia actually do? Because it is something different than only reading slowly and making a lot of spelling mistakes. That's just like the core that we tell each other, but that's definitely not what it actually is. So by accessing this human side of what the experience is, of what it means to people, you can also start figuring out again, okay, how could we then help you? Because then you can figure out, okay, this is what it means to you, this is what it means to me, okay, and then we can move forward again. Because there is so much knowledge. I'm not there as a designer to explain how you should do things. I only want to try to help people to make other decisions and start other conversations. But then, of course, you have to treat it with care. Again, like Petra also said, you have to treat it with care because then people take it more serious. So making a book with, well, almost as less text as possible for dyslexic people, with nice paper, with nice material that is made with attention, also feels like your problems are being addressed with attention and addressed with care. And that also is a hopeful sense in a way. So then to come back to the question, the huge question that we got from Actis, is so we figured, okay, what can we then ask? Because we're not this future elderly that we actually have to think about, the elderly that are now living in elderly homes or living at home and getting care. They come also from different generations than the people that we're looking at. So how can we figure this out? So we started with asking the question, what do you want to become when you grow old? Just as an exercise. And for a moment, I would like to check in if you have any idea about this yourself. Because, of course, this moment after that you stop working and that you access working life is something that you will think about when you get there. Which is, of course, precisely the wrong thing to do, because then you can't do anything anymore, then you can't really prepare yourself, then you can't really think about, okay, how do I need my network? Like all those things don't really happen anymore. Because most of us probably won't have our children living close to us because we're spreading around everywhere. Maybe we don't have any children. Okay, do we then ask our neighbors? How many of us know our neighbors very well? How do you, all those questions we know that are coming, but we are really not preparing for it. And then again, but we know that we're entering a situation that we, kind of have to deal with anyhow, or which is actually a good thing that we have to deal with. So how to collect this? Well, after talking to a lot of people of, again, several different ages, because when do people start to talk about this? How can we give them actually opportunity to talk about this? Are there actually role models? Like, are there people that you think have a life that you would like to live when you are 80 or 70 plus or something like that? So that kind of helps, but then that knowledge is with us, and that knowledge is with the people that we talk to, and we still are not able to share it. And I'm a designer, so I want to make something that I can then share, and that other people can then also have a conversation about this. But this is a very touching conversation, because thinking about a phase in your life that's very close to death is not really a nice thing to look at. So how to then, give it a twist, or how to make it accessible in a way. And for this project, because then at that point, together with Actis, we figured we need to have also a specific context to make it land, which is actually in the elderly home, but not for the elderly, but actually for the people that are working there. Because they also have to think about, okay, what do I want to become when I'm old? What can I actually still ask from the elderly that live in the elderly homes? How can I talk with my family? Because you need to have ambassadors. And those people already chose to work there are somehow ambassadors, but we need to also help them to have a different conversation. So together we created this game just to make it playful, to give it some kind of competition, to give it kind of a goal that you have to do it together and that you have to figure this out, and that actually opens up all those things that people know and experience that people have. So you play as a elderly, so you have a nice background story, you can choose whoever you are. Every person has, of course, a career. I will take Lisa as an example. She's a beautiful woman of 82 years old, and together with a friend, you ran your own fashion boutique for many years. Every day you help the women be their best selves. The boutique has since closed, but even though you may be over 80, you believe that women of any age should still be able to dress well. That's why every month you write a piece in the neighborhood newsletter with fashion tips for elderly, gorgeous over 80. So we thought it was very important to address who have you been throughout your life, what is your interest now, and what is still something you do. And of course, as any elderly, you will run into all kinds of problems or small things that you might need to solve, but where you need others for. So how can you kind of figure out how this works and who you can ask for? So for instance, if chess is your passion, together with your chess friends, you still want to continue playing during the winter, but it becomes cold and slippery outside. So who could you ask to help and install the right app? Just very simple day-to-day notions that we collected with doing all these interviews of elderly. Like, what are the things that make you stay at home? What are the things that make sure that you don't have a contact with someone else? What are the things that you run into that you could help yourself with, but now not anymore? And it's just then to figure out how can you share contacts, how can you share options, who do you actually dare to ask for help, and what is actually the network that you're building up from there. And I think by having this conversation in certain context and having time to place yourself within somebody else's position, it gives you so much knowledge, and it shows you also what you do know yourself. Because many things we just find normal because that's just how we are and that's just how we live them. But by asking questions, about sharing what we do, about listening how others do it and how they look at it, I think we can learn a lot more. And I think that's also a really good place for social design to be in and to help to address that we can actually learn from just the common knowledge that we all have. Thank you.
Thank you, Anna. Is there somebody in the audience already has a question maybe for Anna? Yes, you do. I will come to you. Could you maybe please tell us who you are? And
hi, I'm Malu Bemer, also part of the social design exhibition, and I'm a fellow dyslexic person, and I was just really wondering, what is the most remarkable thing that you came across on the whole dyslexic notion that you didn't expect before?
Good question.
Oh, that's a really difficult question. Yeah, I think it's like you get on one side, of course, very painful stories of people that really have failure anxiety overall because of this, because they wanted to do something so well, but somehow they got still stuck. But I was also very touched by one person. She gave back to me and she said, well, I'm very slow with reading, but it also makes that I can just enjoy the books that I like much longer than other people. And it was such a nice notion of just, okay, I have this, but I still want to do things, and I can also, sometimes it also benefits me. And I think, it's a strange thing to have, because within education, it's something you're so confronted with, and then afterwards, it really is a byproduct. And this balance is really strange. So that was also why it was so important to also ask this to people that were working or were already over 60, and ask this to people who were like 9 and just figured it out, because also the whole experience changed over life. And I think that's also is like a comfort for people that are younger, but it also gives empathy for the younger people when you are older again. Yeah.
Is that an answer to your question? Thank you for coming and also being here during the talk. Indeed, you can also find her work at the exhibition. Anna, I have one question. I mean, you graduated about 10 years ago now, and if you go back, what was the most challenging thing that you encountered in the beginning of your career working on social design projects?
Well, honestly, I never planned to have my own studio, but I wanted to do more social engaged projects, and there wasn't any. So that was the most challenging thing, I think. It was really, if you want to do this, there weren't really bigger design studios at that moment that really worked in this field. Everybody was starting up, and you saw within the Design Academy a lot of projects that actually addressed these topics, but then people changed their career or changed their practices once they actually entered the field. Yeah, and like I said at the beginning, pioneering fits me somehow. So I have a drive, I can go, and I somehow can always find people that want to collaborate with me and then also want to go. And I think that's really what you need, because otherwise, if I would, because you really have to work to get into companies, to make people believe you, to figure out, okay, how can I speak their language so that they also see the potential? Because that it is here now within the Dutch government's state that they made when they formed the coalition. Of course, it's a good statement, but it's a bit like how we also look at nature. We all think we should be sustainable. We all think we should think about what we do, what we eat, etc. But then at the end of the day, we don't, because the other thing is easier. And I think with social design, it's the same. Like, people feel that the topics are important, but to actually make space for it and make time for it, that's always a struggle. Yeah.
Well, thank you. Let's talk about your drive later on during our panel discussion. One big round of applause again for Anne. You can put it. I will turn it off for now. Yeah, so that was already 3 projects. We still have 3 projects to go. And one is Quiek, de novo design. And they are not here, they are still in the Netherlands, but they asked us to do a little exercise with you.